Oh, we're live.
We're live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is James.
I'm Emery.
And this is our podcast. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
It's been like a month.
This ain't been my fault, people.
So it is partially my fault. Probably majority my fault, I would say. Testing, doing test runs and all that stuff, and wanting to get it good enough to put out as a presentation, as a podcast. Just because, why are you laughing?
Keep going.
So this has been full of test runs and stuff like that. Just because I've been trying to get this to a good enough point where it's like, okay, I think it's good enough to put out. I think it's good enough to put out. And it's been a struggle trying to do that. You want to keep a certain level of quality, but at the same time, keep it organic. That has been a struggle, but you know what? We are with this. We're going to put it out. We're going to do it. So let's hop in. If you don't know what I do, I am an audio guy. I love audio, mixing, producing, all that good stuff. A little bit of musicianship in there. That doesn't make sense. But y'all get what I'm saying. I'm a musician, producer, engineer, mostly live sound mixing. That is my passion. That's what I do. Emery?
I am a writer and artist. I like to draw and tell my own stories. That's what I do. I'm also a part-time model, for my own for my own stuff. If I need a character to do a certain thing.
I was about to say modeling for what?
Modeling for my art, James. Okay? If I need a character to have a certain position, I'll be like, let me take a picture. Now I got a reference art. Boom.
Following him on Snapchat for craziness.
There ain't no craziness on my Snapchat. It's just amazing pictures, and then occasionally, you might get a gorgeous man grace your screen once in a while, and it's my face. Just saying.
If you say so. So I guess we'll just get into the topic of today.
Yeah, you saying what next? Like we ain't got nothing planned.
We just gonna come out here freestyle. We ain't got no topic.
We got a topic.
No, we got a topic. I feel like just the intro was so short. It's like, hey, we're just kind of we're getting into it like right now.
Yeah, that's because we went through like 8 different versions of this.
Not 8. We went through 4.
And then we did this extra long intro telling everybody about ourselves, and then we did it again, and we cut it down a little bit, and then we did it again, and then we cut it down even more. And then the last time we did it, I was able to tell y'all, which y'all never gonna see that one, about me and him in like 2 seconds, and it was very concise, very informative on both of us. And then we just went into the topic, and now he's like, I don't know. What else we gotta say? We ain't gotta say nothing else. Okay, all we gotta do is say, you're James, you do what you do, I'm Emery, I am sexy. Boom. Of course, they can see that after watching it. You can hear my voice on the audio, so you
oh my goodness. So anyways, getting into the topic. So today we're going to talk about collabs.
As artists.
As artists.
Because we're artists and, collaborations happen or they are offered to us, and we want to talk about that.
So last week when we recorded and didn't put it up.
Last week on the Unheard Podcasts.
So follow me on Instagram, JFAudioBeats.
That should be the name.
Him, Emerlamb, what?
Unheard Podcast.
Unheard Podcast?
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna listen to us.
Wow. Lack of confidence.
It's not a lack of confidence.
But I like the name though.
Check and see if it's taken.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah. So, Unheard Podcast. It's official. It's going up. I guess we could state the reasons in a different episode, but yeah. Getting into the topic, so we're talking about collabs, what we like about them, what we don't like about them, our struggles, our outcomes with them while we're doing this podcast together, all that stuff. So that's what we want to get into today. Why are we starting a podcast?
Dude,
that's
you
on
brought
me.
that idea to me.
I know. And segue. I tried to make it smooth. We're starting a podcast because me and Emery would always have some type of interesting conversation about something. And I would usually just make a joke about it. Like, oh, you know what? We should start a podcast, all this crazy talk we're talking about. Because I would always find what we're talking about interesting, whether it would be about something having to do with space and black holes or
I brought up that topic.
or Marvel movies.
I brought up that topic.
Or social events.
I brought up those topics too.
You hear this, man? Anyways, so it would always be something interesting that we're talking about, and I felt like you know, we could just go on with this stuff for a while. I feel like we should make a podcast about it. I would say that as a joke. Now, other people, they would be like, well, you keep saying you should start a podcast about it. You should actually start a podcast about it. I'm like, okay, well.
Don't talk about it, be about it, James.
Yeah, so now we are going for it. Yeah, so I presented the idea to him. He was like, I'm down. So this is what it is.
I can do whatever. And we doing it. And hopefully this one gets put out, Just like women, no podcast is good enough for him. So he keeps putting them on the back burner and then starting again.
Continuing on. This man's straight talking crazy. Oh my God, help us.
That one was too tall. I don't want to date her. Her hair was too stringy. I don't want to date her.
Oh my God.
She was too thin. I don't want to date her.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, the audacity. I mean, I can't be talking like that.
I know, and it boggles my mind every single time.
Whatever. So
I'm like, wait a minute.
So that gets on the topic of collabs. No, it doesn't, but I needed to move the topic along because this dude is talking straight crazy. Anyway, so one thing we got into last week when I mentioned, hey, JFAudioBeats on Instagram, Emerlamb on Instagram, hit him up. He was like, no, play. I don't know.
Why you gotta... that podcast is never going to be seen. You gotta bring it up.
Hey, no, but I got to bring it up because that topic... This was not planned. This was not going to be the first topic.
It was an organic topic that came along just by us having a conversation, which is what he wanted. And, he decided, I don't want to do this one. The focus is bad. We could have put it out audio. He was like, nah, we're going to do it again. Why? Because this woman's feet are too long.
What?
I'm not dating her either.
What? Man, oh my goodness. So... we got on the topic of collabs because it mentioned like, hey, don't hit me up on Instagram. And then that got me thinking, it's like, you know what?
If you want to buy some art, hit me up on Instagram.
Hit him up on Instagram if you want to buy some art. He's got some dope stuff.
That's it.
But that got me into the thought of me feeling as well like, hey, sometimes I don't like it when people hit me up on Instagram. And the reason being is because half the time it's like fake accounts, like those spam accounts. Half the time it's like, what is it? When it's probably like some old dudes trying to scam you. And they're like...
A scam?
Hit us up for pretty women on this link.
That's a bot.
Yeah. And I'm just like, all right, come on now. Dude, that stuff irks my soul. I'm just
Maybe they want music for their little site.
Then they shouldn't be messaging me saying, hey, pretty women in this link, click here.
That's not nothing to do with collaborations. Why did you bring it up?
But then there are actually like the real people who hit me up on Instagram talking about, hey, your beats are dope, man. We should collab. Hit me up. I'm like, but you just hit me up right now. But on top of that, it's like, but can we actually collab? Like, is this actually going to work? Do you actually want to collab, or do you just want to turn me into a paying customer for something that you're trying to sell?
And talk more about that, because you were talking about that last week, about how they go about doing that.
Oh, man. So, like, a couple of times where I actually tried to, where I actually was like, yeah, let's collab. Let's get into this. And, like, oh, hey, shoot me your email so we can get up. And both times I was honestly like, well, my email is straight in my Instagram, but whatever, though. So I would, yeah. First off, but anyways, so I'd shoot them an email, then they would hit me back with like, oh, check out this pack. Just take these melodies and think up whatever you can think up. Send me whatever beats that you make with them. And that would throw me off because first of all, I don't think they really listen to my stuff in detail to I guess understand my style and where I'm coming from as a producer and my type of art.
What is your style?
I don't know, but
I will classify your style as
you about to say video game music.
Donkey Kong level music. Not just video games, specifically Donkey Kong Country. I'm like, hey, I know this level.
And, okay, so I played a little bit of Donkey Kong, but not enough to understand the music in depth. So
Okay, whatever you played, it got ingrained in your soul, and that's your music now. It happens.
I don't know. I guess so. But my phone disconnected from the camera. That's all right. But they would send me these loops and these melodies and stuff like that. And these just packs of like 50 melodies. And they'll be like, okay, make a bunch of beats and, send it back to me. And I'm like, you know what? Looking at this, it looks like a pack that you just send to a bunch of producers randomly. I feel like this isn't something that's us truly collabing exclusively on. And then on top of that, is this truly a collab to where we're working on a beat together and we're posting it to one of our accounts, or is this just something where
Did you ask those questions?
you want to advertise? These are the questions that I ask myself because at this point, I'm feeling apprehensive about it. I honestly don't want to contact
Okay,
you guys.
well, not. Then contact. Just see what it is. They're like, hey, fool. What's up with this? It looks like I'm not special to you. It looks like you're sending this to every producer. I'm not every producer. If you want to work with me, sir.
Are we not exclusive?
Yeah, exactly. I need exclusivity. It needs to be you and me. You're sending me the same thing you be sending every other producer out here, and I don't appreciate it. Okay? So what you need to do next time you try to contact me, someone at my level, okay, you need to do something specifically for me. Because if not, sir, I don't want it. I don't want it, okay? You need to go back and work with them other little janky fools because I ain't.
See how eccentric this man is.
That's what you should.
So so these producers out here having side trying to moving on. But it's those type of interactions that make me apprehensive about collabs because like are you really trying to have I guess an honest, a sincere collab, or are you just trying to get a paying customer or somebody that you can use for your own promotion at the expense of their time? So that's my feelings on it. But those have been my experiences with collabs.
And like I told you before, all that is them giving you something to where you can do something unique with that beat.
I mean, yeah.
So they give you some loops, and they give somebody else some loops, and then you do something with it, and then they do something drastically different with it. And then they can be like, hey, look, this is what I have. This is what can be done with it. This is a range. It has a wide range of stuff, and you're just over here denying them the ability to give you the same amount of visibility that you can give them. Because you can put that beat out and be like, hey, I got these free things from this one group. Why don't you check it out? And they can be like, hey, look at this. Look what James did. Look what this other guy did. Look what this other person did. I used to listen to, and I probably still will if they put out some new stuff, this group, Jazz Jousters. They would put together this music by having different artists do the same artist for a sample. A same older jazz artist for a sample. So then if you heard the same song, sometimes they would take a different part of that song from that artist, and then they'll just take that sample, boom, make a whole song out of it. And it's like, that's something you could do with that other person that's trying to get to you. They're only getting to you, James, because they like what you do. And you're like, oh, they don't know what I do. Well, they heard your music on Instagram. So obviously they like what you do.
Yeah, but that's yes.
It's a different
no.
type of collab.
Yes, and
it's still
no.
a collaboration.
It's a collaborate. Okay, maybe it's my viewpoints on collabs because I see a collab as, hey, we go back and forth on a beat. We add something unique to that beat. until it's finished. Or there are other types of collabs where it's like catering to a different audience. Like we talked about where they have the YouTube collabs where it's like, okay, 4 different producers flip
Yeah,
a sample.
I like that channel.
Man, I love those. Like
I thought I was telling you about it and you already knew about it.
yeah, man.
And I was like, he should. He's a producer.
But they're like those. But in the environment of someone in my inbox saying, hey, you know, let's collab on a beat. Let's collab on a beat.
Man, look, I'm telling you, if I collab on a beat, I'm going to do 2 separate beats. I'm going to do the one I would do because I know they're going to throw some trash in there. I'm just saying. They're going to kick it back to me. I'll be like, what is this? Is this a French horn? Why is it there?
Oh, man. Yeah, man. I've been there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I was about to say with somebody you know very well. I've been there. Oh man, I've been like, what?
Yeah, they messed your beat up, man.
No, oh man, oh my. You know
Technically, that wasn't even a collab.
That wasn't even a collab.
That wasn't even a collab.
Somebody stole my beat. Somebody stole my beat, and was just like, hey, we got to make this so different. But the sad part was, the beat was so simplified. It had like maybe 4 instruments. It had kick, snare, had like 5 or 6 instruments. Kick, snare, had piano, bass, and like some vocals and like some opera vocals that were like padded on it. That was it. That was the beat. It was very simple. It was meant for someone who was a lyricist to just flow on. Bro, you heard what they did with it.
I did. I was sorely I was hurt.
I was so hurt.
I was hurt by this. It wasn't my song.
There was like some Casio keyboard brass thrown on top of there. There was like some sci-fi changing up synths on top of that. I was like, oh my gosh.
He thought he was doing something.
Dude.
He was messing it up.
Actually,
anyway.
Wait, he also put like some type of like guitar on there too. Like some guitar riffs. I'm like, dude, what is going on?
Like the song was fine. We don't need all this extra stuff.
Yeah.
Please put it back.
So that wasn't even collab. That was one of my beats getting stolen. So I mean, that's collabs from like the audio production side, from music. But how does it look on the storytelling side of things?
Oh, me?
Yes, you. Because I'm not in that.
I know. I was just surprised. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Oh my goodness. This guy. So.
Oh, we could have talked about you more, James. Anyway, since you asked the question, for storytelling, whether it be a storybook that you want to do for kids or a comic book, what you want to do for all ages. You have the writer, you have the artist who does pencils and maybe ink also, and then you have the person that does the colors, and then you have an editor. Because sometimes writers be misspelling stuff, you know what I'm saying?
We know.
Hey, got to get them stories out quick. That's
So you still need an editor.
Hey, man.
I've been telling this dude for years.
If
like,
I
hey,
wait for an editor, things ain't gonna go out.
Man,
and I don't be looking back at stuff. I'm serious.
Just send me your stuff and I will spell check it for you.
Once I
could easily do
put
that.
it out, I've had people look at my stuff. I'm like, hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. Can you read it? Can you edit it for me just in case I have any spelling errors? Guess what? They're like, oh, I really like the story. Okay, that's not what I asked. I asked. There's one
Have
person
you ever
I
sent
asked.
it to me?
No, there was one person I asked though, where I was like, hey, can you check out this story that I've completed? Tell me what you think about the story. I know there's spelling errors in it, and I'm going to fix those. I never went back and fixed it because I finished the story.
And then they were like, you spelled something wrong.
Yes, and I was like, okay, yeah, I know. I just want your opinion on the story. I was like, never mind.
They said, while we're here.
Never mind. I was like, forget it. And so, yeah, so when I ask people to check my story, They do it for the wrong reasons.
Well, man, find someone who can, like, I don't think it's bad that that person was like, okay, while we're here,
I
you spelled it
already
wrong.
said, I know there's spelling errors. Just check the story to see how it flows, how the story flows.
Did they at least give you that feedback?
No.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yes.
They just didn't do their job.
I was like, well, thanks. And then everybody else, I'm just like,
Hey, man, I
look,
thought they were trying to kill two birds with one stone.
Nah,
but-
man.
No, man.
it's like they're trying to turn me down. I was like, well, that doesn't help. Like, I already know about those.
Okay, but like right now you're doing all of that, so
Yes, I am doing all of that, so I don't need no help on the stories I'm doing now. There are some other stories where I did have an artist, and I still need that artist for that story. Because for me, when it comes to certain stories, the aesthetics have to fit the story. If there isn't a match between story and art, it disconnects for me. Like I've seen that with they did one where I was excited for it because I'm a nerd. I don't know if you can tell. Anyway, I had this story that I really wanted to read on Doctor Who meets Star Trek: The Next Generation. It was a comic, and I was like, "Oh crap, this is gonna be dope," because I like Doctor Who and I love Star Trek. So I go to pick up the comic when it finally comes out. It's like a 5-part story. The art was so horrible. I stopped reading it after the second one. There was
just because the art was bad.
just because the art was bad.
Was the story good?
I how am I supposed to know?
You didn't care?
I mean, yeah, I didn't care. The story could have been better. It was just the art was down here, the story was right here, and I thought it was all going to be up here. So there was one panel where 11, Matt Smith, was on the Enterprise. It's the Enterprise D, and the way that he is turned to like the captain was like this, and I was like, ew. I was like, I'm done. I was like, I am done. Like they were trying to use like watercolors, and I appreciate that. It was just like
Watercolors.
I don't know, man. Like the way that they were drawn, pencil wise, was bad. And sometimes the art can be so bad, it can make a good story seem bad. So
Just because of the art.
Just because of the art.
And that makes sense when a comic is, there's always going to be art in a comic.
Yeah. And that goes for even other visual storytelling mediums as like live action movies and TV shows. If the aesthetics don't match the story, it takes people out. I don't even think a lot of people realize that. I do because I like this stuff and I want to do this stuff. I want to do movies, I want to do comics, I want to do books, I want to do it all. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this don't match. So I'm looking at one of my stories and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to, this is my traditional style. This is my style when I'm looking at reference art, inspired by, a picture that I think I can draw.
Yeah.
And then this is my style when I'm trying to do something specific. This is my other style when I'm trying to do something specific. This is my style when I try to do this story and it's not working, so I can't do this story.
You have a lot of styles.
I have like 3 or 4.
So, has anybody
math
ever
would
hit
be
you
right
up
if you would've
saying,
listened.
"Hey, let's collab on"?
Yes, they did.
What came of it?
The first the collaboration that I did was for one of my comics that I still want to do. I want to do this comic I've had for 15 years now.
This man said 15 years.
I had to do the math and I was like, oh dear God, it's 2020.
So he's had this comic in his head since 2005.
2005. Technically, maybe even before that, because the name of the character I heard in the 90s and it was used for something. And I was like, oh that's an amazing concept. So it was in the back of my head since I was in elementary school. And then when I was in high school, I was like, yo, oh snap. And then I had a comic idea. And then I told one of the guys at the church, because he was an artist, and I had stopped drawing in high school. So I'm like, this is my senior year. I got this story idea, and I'm just running through it in my head. And then when I get out, it's 2000. It's at the end of 2005, and I see him, and I'm like, yo, you draw. I got a comic idea. Let's work together. And he's like, cool. And then
I could see him doing it.
yeah, we start working together at the beginning of 2006, January 2006. He does. I tell him what I want the character to look like. This is what he does. I give him the vaguest. It's vague. I'm like, I want him to be black, and he's like this, and I was like, dude, did you pull that image out of my brain? How did you do that?
He said, I want him to be black. He's like, say no more.
Yeah.
Say no more.
He went. This what you talking about? I was like, dang man, like,
Oh, man.
I was like, I found the right guy, because the art style was the style I wanted for this story. So I was like, I need this guy to write this, because at the time I still wasn't drawing. I had stopped for a couple years, and I was like, all right, let's go, because I want this comic to come out by the end of this year.
Okay, quick question, though.
Yes.
Why'd you stop in high school?
I don't know.
Just like wasn't motivated to do it, or?
I was drawing my freshman year. I took an art class. Then, I don't know, maybe track.
Ah, okay. So it just like took up a lot of time and.
I mean, it's only for like a couple months, so I don't know what I was doing the rest of that year. The next year, I don't know what I was doing that whole summer, summer, fall, winter for sophomore year. I don't know. I just stopped drawing.
So was this project like the thing that kind of
Got me back into,
yeah.
yes, that got me back into writing, because I used to draw my own comics as a kid. So at 4 and 5, I was writing and drawing my own comics. So I'm like, I got this. And then I saw him, and I wasn't drawing, and I was like, yo, let's collab. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, dope, let's go. So I was coming up there all the time, and I wrote the first comic for this character, and I was like, yo, I know where I want him to go. So then I wrote the second comic for the character, and then I wrote, okay, the synopsis for 3 through 50. And I was like, I know where he's going for like 5 years.
So what happened?
Because then I went to 60, and I was like, 60.
goodness.
60 is 5 years where
So-
this character goes.
Well, I guess what happened with the collab, because you wrote 1 through 60,
Yeah.
or at least the synopsis.
We didn't finish the first comic.
You didn't finish, dude. You wrote 60 and you didn't finish the first one.
We didn't finish the first one. And I was like, man, look, if I am going to not do what I want to do, hopefully it's only because I'm holding me up. Because I have all this stuff. And I know part of it was my problem, because I was putting too much on him. Because after I did the first one, I was like, yo, I'm going to bring back the comic book character that I did as a kid, make him a little older so he's an adult. And then I'm going to write and draw that one. So I'm going to need to start drawing again. So I started, I told him, I was like, hey, we're going to do this. And then these characters are going to meet in this issue. And then that means I got to change this around. That's how I got to 60, because there was supposed to be like a big event. And then I was like, yeah, and then I can have this other character. This character's going to be straight ignorant. Then I've read some other people's stories on like superheroes that were like just ghetto. And I was like, I don't got ghetto in me. It's not coming out like that.
He said, I'm sorry, it's not happening that way.
I was like, man, my character is like mild.
So
My character was like Bart Simpson once South Park came out. and you have like the bad kids, and everybody's like, Bart's so bad, Bart's this, Bart's that, and then like South Park came out, and then like all these kids were cussing and being all vulgar and stuff, and you look back at Bart, you're like, he's not bad.
Good job, Bart.
That's how I felt with my character. My superheroes was supposed to be straight ignorant. I was like, yeah, yeah. And I looked at that stuff. I was like, man, my character looks
Looks like a golden child.
yeah.
But why? So why? What happened to where you didn't finish the first comic?
I don't think we were on the same page on a lot of stuff when it came creatively. It was we had other stuff going on in our lives, and I don't think we were devoting the time to it in a way that we're like, yeah, we want this to be our job. We want this to be our career, because we would say that. And I don't think we were putting in the work to make that happen.
Ooh, dang, guilt hit everybody. It's like, ooh, dang. Speaking
Because,
to a lot
like,
of people right now.
Yeah, because if we really wanted to make it happen,
Make it happen.
we would have made it happen. We were 18, 19. We should have made that happen. And that's what I was trying to tell my parents, because I'm like, look, I'm at school right now. I ain't got no job. All I want to do is work on school and work on this script, because I was doing a movie script.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I was really working with them, I'm like, dude, we can do this and have nothing else to worry about. Once we get this off the ground and we could get this out, we get this black superhero out in 2007, because I wanted, it was going to take us like 2006 to like work down, all of 2006 to work down how to like do a comic in a short amount of time. Because you want to be able to put one out in 1 month. And that means you write the script, you send it off to your artist, they draw it, then you send it off to they send it off to the person that does the ink, the color, stuff like that. So you as a writer have to be a couple months ahead.
Gotcha.
Of the release date. And then they have to draw it, so they got to be able to draw one in a month, which is hard to do. I was actually able to do it in 2018 to draw my own story. I drew. Well, the story was like, I don't know. It was long. It was longer than a regular comic book, and then I ended up finishing 18 pages in one month. And then last year, I was able to do 3 10-page comics in 1 month. So you should be able to do a 22-page comic within a month.
Honestly, that's kind of hard for me to grasp, just because I don't fully understand how difficult it is, just because I'm not an artist.
It's a lot of art.
Yeah.
Drawing is difficult. To find the right poses that you want and everything. And that's why you go out to an artist to collab with, because they can see what you're writing and catch your vision. And it's easier if you have little thumbnails that you can like sketch out, just to have a rough estimate of what you want it to look like. So then you give it to them, and they're supposed to be able to tell your story just through artwork alone. That even if it doesn't have bubbles there, you can tell what's going on. So you need to find someone that good. And the guy I was working with, he was good. We had a similar issue when it came to finishing our products at the time. So I was like, man, like we can start this. Are we going to finish it? So I'd be up there. And then sometimes the only time he would work on it is when I was there. And I'd be working on my stuff. I'm like, man, look, I wrote 60 for him, 60 for him. I'm going to do a comic for this guy. And he's going to come up later because he's going to be introduced here. So he's going to come up, and then they're all going to converge on this other story. And then I got a story that takes place in another universe. And he was like, oh, God.
So,
and I wasn't communicating right that I was going to do some of these too. I just want you to work on this story because this artwork here for this story has to be done by you because you're the only one who can tell this story in this way. Art-wise. I can't do it. So I kicked it to you, so that's where I want to collab on. When it comes to other type of collaborations, I'm like, man, I got my own stories.
What type of collaborate? Because it sounds like someone has hit you up with more than just let me draw your stuff. So they want to like collaborate on the story itself.
No, they want to
Or what?
collaborate on art, and I don't know how to do that.
Oh, like both of y'all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to do that either.
I'm like, look, I got stories to write. If you want,
He just said, "Hey, I ain't got time.
and other people want,
I ain't got
custom.
time."
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Other people have asked for custom pieces, and then or like a logo or something like that. So they want a logo. They'll give me the idea, and most of the time that's happened, it's because it's during a time I wanted to. I'm like, I need to finish the story like right now, this month. I'm gonna finish it this month. And they're like, yo, you wanna get paid? I have this logo idea for you. And I think you can do it. And so they'll give me the logo idea, I'll draw it. They're like, no, I want it like this. And I'll be like, okay. So then I'll do it again and I'll send it back. And they're like, oh no, can you add this? Like I was thinking about this. Can you add this into it? And I was like, okay, this is not a logo anymore.
You know what that gets into?
What?
Has nothing to do with collabs, but getting paid for your work
Yeah.
in advance.
Yeah.
Because that's time, and time is money.
Yeah.
And so when they're like, but can you revisions? That's another thing.
Dude. I had one, it was a mural at the end. She wanted the logo. And at the end she wanted a mural. Cause she just kept adding like, oh wait, no, can you add more of these? And I was like,
It's like, hold up, put flowers on it.
man, I want to work on my story.
Wait, add vines that weave between the letters.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna take forever. This is gonna take forever.
Yeah, so
And she ended up not going with any of my designs.
So she didn't pay for anything.
No.
So how much time do you? Because that's a real issue, and that's what I see a lot of in the creative
That
world.
whole month.
Man, do you follow?
That whole month I was gonna do my own thing. She was gonna try and pay me for something, and then happened.
I can't remember what the YouTube channel is called, but
I don't follow it.
It's a graphic design YouTube channel. It's like the business aspect behind it, and a big issue is setting your price in advance so that these things don't happen. Where you put in the time,
And you ain't getting no money.
yeah, that you could spend doing something else.
Yes.
Like finishing writing or drawing for a story, but someone's like, hey, can you do this? I'll pay you. It's like, okay, before we get started, these are my prices up front. These are the costs for each revision. And then that's where you can weed out your serious customers from your people who are just trying to not intentionally waste your time, but they may find themselves wasting
Your time. Yes. Because I was like, man, I did all that for nothing. You ain't used none of that.
Man,
And the name of the thing that she had, I was like, yo, I could do it like this, and then it brings this level to this level, and then it's like that. And she was like, what is that? And I told her what it was, and she was like, oh, I never would have thought of that. And I was like, yeah, I know. Only I would have thought of that.
So
because I think like that. So you came to the right person. And this is a logo. It's a logo. It's like this right here. A logo. What she had couldn't fit on your arm. Not the whole, nothing.
Hey man,
Nothing.
It would have been one of those huge.
Yes. It would have took up the whole shirt.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And that's not a logo. Then I saw what she actually did. Somebody else came up with something. And it was something simple. And I'm like, somebody probably told her no a bunch of times. And because I kept telling her why it wouldn't work. And she was like, just do it anyway. And I was like, man, what am I going to...
Hey, bro. You set them prices like that. That's where I feel like that would have really helped. And it's funny you mentioned that because you mentioned people asking for custom pieces, and people hit me up a lot like, "Hey, can you make me a beat?" And I had to tell people like, I don't do beats on request. I don't do custom tracks.
Look at what I got. You can go to what you got. What's your thing?
Huh?
The thing where you
website?
got your
FLAC Audio.
Like go on there and pick something from there.
Yeah, and I try to
Because you know how hard it is? Because to make a beat for somebody, first you got to know what type of style of music that they do. and you have to tailor it towards that. You just can't come in cold and be like, "Hey, make me a beat," and they get the beat, and you're like, "Oh, I can't rap to this. This isn't my style."
And it's not just that. It's, for me myself, this definitely does not apply to every producer, but I cannot just go in feeling a certain way creatively and then force myself to go into this direction that this other person wants. Maybe that's a point in the creative process that I'm gonna have to reach as far as like discipline wise. But for me, it's like if I'm feeling a way, I'm gonna make that beat that I'm feeling at that moment. It's not going to be okay. I need to make something like this, so I'm just gonna do that, and it's gonna be great. Like no, it has to be what I'm feeling. Like what have I been listening to lately? Has it been some old school '90s R&B? Has it been some early 2010s trap music? I don't know.
Name somebody from early '90s R&B.
Man,
That's what I thought. He don't be listening to that. Trying to give
wow.
examples of stuff he don't do.
Wow. Honestly, some what was I listening? I was listening to Neo. What was that track? Say It, but this is a podcast for families. But I don't know why. I was listening to that album and that song came on and I was looking through all the comments. How many people in the comments were like, "Dang, like this comment if you're listening to this in 2020."
That happens with a lot of music. That happens with the early '90s rap I be listening to.
Yeah. Everybody be like, "Oh, like this comment if you're." It's like y'all just out here for likes. like get off this video.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, just listen to it. You don't have to comment. Oh, like this comment if you're still listening. And people actually do it too. They got like 400 likes.
Yeah, they're like 93 to infinity. Listen to this if you're listening to it in 99 or 2019. I was like, I ain't liking your stuff.
Oh man.
I ain't stopped listening to this.
Yeah. But I don't know how I got on that. But yeah, when people ask for a custom beat or something like that, not just that, but it's like, how much time would I spend trying to make a track that's outside of how I'm feeling creatively at the moment?
I know what you're talking about because that's how I feel when it comes to like, well, there have been, it's like working on a story. If you're going to work on that story with somebody else, and they try to pull you from what you're doing, they don't know they're trying to pull you from what you're doing. They're like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And it's like, I could get paid. That's not where my mind is at, though.
See, exactly.
Like, yeah, it's like when you're a creative, it's not just your mind in it, like your spirit's in it.
Right.
And your spirit is moving in a certain direction, and you need to let that flow that way. And then somebody's like, "No, come over here, money, come over here," and you're like, "I can't, I gotta go."
And you could truly like put in effort to try to
Yeah,
go in
you
that
can.
direction they want you to.
Yeah.
But your
It's
mind, it's still like, but you can feel it that
Yeah.
you want to be
You're
going in that
supposed to be
direction.
going in this direction.
Yeah.
And you're forcing yourself to go in another direction. That's really not going to come out in the way that you would normally have it. I've heard that with artists that have done songs for like they got paid to do a song for a movie or something like that, and I was like,
Their heart's not.
"This is not your best."
Yeah. So you can tell when someone's heart is in the craft. But you know what? There was another thing that I was checking out where it was like it wasn't just the fact that hey, they're going in a direction that that you weren't going in, but even just the cost of readjusting. I don't know if it was like a TED Talk or something else that I was watching. Maybe it was like just like a self-improvement video, but setting timelines for yourself. Like, okay, from this point to this point, I'm going to do this. From this point to that point, I'm going to do that. It's not just switching from task to task. There's a cost associated with trying to change gears and move from one task to another because your mind has to disconnect from the current task that you're working on or you just finished.
Yeah.
And you have to get yourself in a mode to where you can be creatively or just efficient in general with the new task that you're going to set yourself on. Because you can't just switch. No, you have to spend time, maybe a few minutes even, to go from this task that you're currently on to the new task that you're trying to adjust to.
Yeah, this sounds like something about momentum.
Yeah.
It sounds like a real world principle that's in like physics, to where energy's lost.
Yeah.
And I can't even think of the actual thing. And it's like you're
Inertia.
moving. Yeah. You're moving in that direction, and then when you're trying to switch, you lose. There's a snap in that energy to try, even if it's like a turn.
Right.
There's a loss there, and you lose stuff when you're switching task to task in a creative sense, in that real world sense. I can't remember the entire principle.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just
And while
like
you're talking about it, it makes sense because that is something that happens in real life.
yeah, because I mean, if you're turning a corner, you have to slow down.
Yeah.
And then you have to speed back up. That's the example that they used when it came to approaching different tasks that you're trying to do.
I mean, I've been in the car with a woman who didn't slow down, hitting them corners on the freeway. We were being dangerous.
You said on the freeway.
I was like, if we die.
I'm not gonna front. I be driving like that sometimes.
I know. That's why I don't drive with him. Except for to the store.
Oh,
To
yeah.
the store. I was like, I guess I'll let him drive this time.
we went to Sprouts one day. I was like, hey, let's go.
It's
to
not
Sprouts.
that far. It's not that far, so he can't.
We don't hop on the highway.
Yeah, we don't have to do that. So I guess
Yeah.
he'll drive.
If we get on the highway, best believe I'm gonna be cruising. You might be afraid. I don't know.
I'm gonna be driving. He tried to drive my car one time. I was like, nah, man.
But did I crash though?
You didn't drive my car.
What? I drove. I've driven your car once.
Yeah, and then that was once. I remember one time I was tired.
once.
I was dead tired. I was like, I'll drive.
You know what that reminds me of? And this was my fault. Me and Desiree were living at home. We were both going to community college, and I had procrastinated on a 10-page paper, like till the last day. So I was literally up all night writing a 10-page paper. And then what I used to do when I procrastinated on papers, I would write the paper in full. And then because it always ended up being a part of the paper, I would write the the setup for it as well. I can't remember what it was called. Mm-hmm. So I wrote that all in one night. And I was also tripping off of some iced coffee that I had made that was too strong. And I was still falling asleep. But my heart was like just...
Oh, I think you told... Did you tell me about that?
Yeah, it was the same day.
Yeah.
It was the same day. So so me and Desiree were riding to school. I was driving because we shared a car. And
Desiree did not care about her life.
She didn't... Man, I love her, but yo, that morning I got so mad at her because I fell asleep at the wheel, and I had fallen asleep at the wheel, and we like floated off the road. This was on Cotton Road. This was on Cotton Road heading south.
Yeah, I remember the story.
And I floated off the road all the way. Like all four wheels of the car were in the dirt and rocks on the side of the road. And I was like it jolted me because all of a sudden I just heard everything like. So I get back. I'm like, oh snap. She's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I stayed up all night. Can you drive? And she was like, no. Bro, I got so bad. I was like, excuse me? Do you don't value life? Is that what you're telling me? You just... I just fell asleep at the wheel, and you're gonna be like, I don't want to drive.
You just actively show that you are not in a position to drive.
Yo.
And she was just like, nah, I don't care. I was like, you told me that story. I was like, she doesn't care about you or her.
She really doesn't. She really does not
care if she gets to her destination safely.
Man, and you know when you're that tired at the wheel, you just gotta do some random stuff to stay awake, blasting the AC and opening the windows and turning the music all the way up, and just like constantly just moving, dude. Man, dude, I swear. There are a few times I've been that tired, but I've been that tired more than once, and
yeah, one of those times. Oh, not one of those times, because you just mentioned the time that was your fault.
Oh,
That
and-
time, remember when I saw you that one time?
Oh, I've been that way like five times, I think. That
I
was
know one of those times because we saw you on the freeway.
Yeah.
Or we were getting off the freeway because I was tired too.
Yo,
This dude kept me and another friend up all night, right?
Oh man.
And I was like, James, I need to get home. So
Hey.
the way
I was with the homies.
he doesn't care about tomorrow when he's with the homies that night. And I was like, you gotta think about the future, James. Like the immediate future, the next day.
You don't think about the future when you're with the homies.
I do.
Oh man.
So we're over here, late night talking in my car, and then the way that we had everybody go back, we were at where one friend needed to be, and then that friend was like, "Let's drop off James first," and he dropped me off, and then go home. I was like, "Wait a minute, I'm sorry, you're already here." And then we did that anyway because I don't know. So we went all the way from where? Surprise? Not Surprise. Further than that.
My apartment.
No, we were at.
Oh, we were in Surprise?
No. Yeah, because we were at that person's house. No, Don's house.
Oh yeah. So we were there.
We went there.
Surprise.
We went Surprise all the way to Avondale. Then I went from Avondale all the way back to Surprise, and then went Surprise all the way to Phoenix. Then I woke up at 6 a.m. I think I got back at like 3. I woke up at 6 a.m. because
Yeah.
I went all the way back to Surprise to take her to Tempe. And in the middle of the freeway drive there, like almost.
Actually, no, going on the highway, you said you saw me.
No, it wasn't on the highway. I got off because I was tired.
Oh.
So once we got to McDowell's, I was like, look, you gotta drive. And so she's like, okay. So then we get off the freeway and we're on the off ramp, and then we see you pull up, and you're like,
and
I was like, whoa, what the heck? Why is he driving?
Yo, so this was at what, like 7:50 in the morning?
Yes.
Because I had to be at ISM class at 8. Yo.
I was like, dude.
And what?
I was like, that's all his fault. Like,
That was all my fault. Because I'm
I was
like,
like, James, we gotta go.
I was
You're
like, bro.
I want to talk. I was like, we could talk to.
like, cause man, you with the homies, you ain't trying to leave. It's like, hey, bro. But yeah, I don't know. So that was another time. A third time was, actually no, the third and fourth time was driving to Texas and back from Texas. So I drove nonstop from Phoenix to Waco and then back. That drive there, I think, was 22 hours.
He didn't know if there were any sundown towns on the way there or back, so he was like, I'm driving.
Hey, bro, I was like, no.
Can't
no.
stop.
The only reason I stopped was for gas. I didn't even stop for food. I was hungry by the time I stopped in Austin. I stopped in Austin. So I wasn't far from Waco.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I didn't understand the how serious it is for a black man to drive through the Great Plains of Texas until I was actually there, and I'm like, I feel unsafe. and then my parents were like, James, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And then I was
See,
there.
that's because you don't be listening to nobody, man.
Man.
You're like, are you sure? He's like, I got this.
Hey.
And you're like, oh, God.
Hey, wisdom was gained in the experience. I'm gonna tell you that. Wisdom was gained in the
So
experience.
that was the third and fourth?
Yeah.
Was the fifth when we were over in Tempe?
No.
And you wanted to spend the night? You're like,
No.
oh, I'm tired. And I was like, James, let's go home. And you're like, we'll go in the
No,
morning.
that time that drive was fine. It was coming back from Tucson. That was the fifth time.
When we were here?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that was when I had the job in Tucson.
You had a job in Tucson?
Yeah. The
sound job?
Yeah. So
Was this a different sound job?
no, this was one where you were like, you should spend the night.
Yeah, that's what I said here.
Oh,
when you were
here.
here.
Yeah,
because I came in and I was like, what are you doing here, James? You're not supposed to be here.
So
You're supposed to be at a hotel. And you're like,
So I contract for a live sound company, and we had a job at at Davis Monthan Air Base. They had this festival going, so I got up at I got up at 4 in the morning.
That wasn't the original plan.
No, that was the original plan, but it changed. But I just didn't check my email, so I wasn't aware of it.
You kept telling me a month in advance that you were going to go to a hotel the night before.
Yeah.
And then when I asked you about it, you were like, I could make it in the morning. And I was like, dude,
Yeah, because
you said, I was like, that means you're going to be up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. You're going to drive all the way there. And then you're going to try and do a 12 to 14 hour event.
it was longer than that.
See? And then come back at what, 3 in the morning?
2. So it
I was
was
like, get your rest. And he was like, I can do anything.
So 4 in the morning. Yeah. So it was like a 22-hour job. Got up at 4 in the morning, drove out there at 5, a 21-hour job. And the part that I had missed was the original time to get set and ready to go. Start setting up for the event was 7:00. That got changed to 10. And I was emailed that like a few days in advance, but I did not check my email because I was like, oh, a job in Tucson. Oh, so I was so excited I didn't bother to check anything.
I don't check my
So I was there 3 hours early, and so we did the job, did everything. We got done around midnight. No, we got done around like 10, 11. I drove back, and let me tell you, after that much time of standing and walking and lifting heavy speakers, and these speakers are like 100, 150 pounds, like each, especially some of those heavy like JBL
And ladies,
stuff like
he
that.
did it by himself. He lifted those speakers by himself. Look at those guns. Look at him. James Flex. Flex.
Man,
James.
he gonna point out my insecurities.
Flex. You got this. Flex.
Disclaimer: I'm insecure about my body. I don't know why he's doing this.
Because
but anyways,
women
so
love skinny dudes.
after like a whole day of just 12 hours of lifting, actually more than 12 hours lifting, doing this, that, and the other, we drive back, and I take my own car, separate from the load truck. I get back to the apartment, and I'm like, you know what? Let me wait till these guys get back to the shop, and then I'll go help them pack up. So they get back to the shop. I meet them at the shop. We unload. Then I get back to the apartment again. It's 2:00 in the morning, and by this time I've been up for 22 hours. Let me tell you, before, like on the drive back from Tucson to Phoenix, it's 2 hours. Specifically 2.5 hours from Davis Mountain to my apartment. And let me tell you, in the first 10 minutes of the drive back, it was like rigor mortis had set in. My muscles tightened up so much, and I was trying so hard not to fall asleep. Yo, that was rough. And it was raining too, and I opened the windows anyway because I'm like, I need this rain. I was like, I need this rain. I need it because I was so ready to fall asleep, and I did not want to be sitting on the side of the road because I do not.
I think I texted you.
Want to be sitting on the side of the road,
alive. Yeah.
Anywhere near
this
Tucson.
This dude probably dead.
Nah, man. But yeah, he tells me I should have gotten a hotel for the night, but I was like, man,
No, man, most of the stuff, since we moved in, I've been having to be like, I hope James isn't dead because his mom's going to kill me. And I'm like, oh my God, she's going to kill me.
I'm just fine.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that drive was not fun. But I definitely enjoyed the event, though. I always enjoy those events, but they can be a lot of work at times.
You know what else is a lot of work? Our sponsors. Psych, we don't have any. That would have been dope if we did.
Shout out to our sponsors. Oh no, we have sponsors.
We have sponsors?
Yeah. JFAudioBeats, Emerlamb on Instagram. Thanks for sponsoring this video.
Check them out.
Check them out. If you see something or you hear something you like, make a purchase.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying I do not want to do like custom pieces. Like my commissions are open. What I'm saying is that sometimes collaborating with people you do not know can be a little hard. And
The challenge.
my mind might not be there. Like the artist that I was working with hit me up once quarantine started and was like, "Hey, can I get that script for the comic?" And I'm like, "I gotta rewrite it because one, the original one I wrote in 2005, I had to change because stuff was done that in a couple years, like from 2005 2009, stuff was done in media, and I didn't want to seem like I was copying.
Oh,
So I had to change it in 2009. Then I had to change it again in 2015. Then I had to change it again, and like last year. And I'm like, stuff happened again because what's it called came out. Avengers Endgame.
oh, that kind of encompassed some elements.
Yeah, it encompassed some elements of my story. So I was like, I gotta write it again. And unfortunately, I'm not in the mindset to have that story flow because that has to be, it's something familiar, and I have to do it in a new way. And I right now my mindset is not able to put myself in that story and let the story flow, because that's how I do it. I'm either mentally in that story and I'm watching it unfold, or I am sort of outside that story, doing stuff like this to have that story flow, like kneading dough or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how my creative process happens. Writing sometimes. Other times it comes to me like a flash. That's how the first movie that had me get into script writing came to me. It was a flash, and I've had a lot of stuff come as flashes. And then other stuff, I'm like, yo, I see this, and now I have to sit here and let this story wash over me. With this, I would have had to
He said, "Let the story wash over me."
Yeah.
That sounds extra dramatic.
Well, either that or I have to be on the ride. It either washes over me, it flows, and it encompasses my entire being, so I can just flow with it. Or I have to sort of be on the outside creating it. And with this story, I had to know where it's at now.
So you be method writing your scripts? Is that what you're saying?
Somewhat.
That's what he means. He method writes.
Anyway. I got a chain text.
Oh.
One of those, share this
Oh God.
on Facebook. Don't let it die.
I apologize if I see a message from someone saying, "Share this. Make sure."
I'm not gonna share it.
I'm not gonna share it.
I'm not.
I love y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking to. If I don't know you, I mean, you cool. But for those people who send me those chain messages,
It's like gossip. For me, it dies. It dies.
it ends here.
This is where gossip comes to die, and chain Facebook.
The buck stops here.
Chain Facebook messages. I'm like, oh well. If you wanted this to get viral, you would have shared it to your page. Like,
So you better
want everybody to see this.
You better hope I'm not the only one you sent this to, because if you did,
It's like trying to start a rumor. Well, I care. This is not how. It might be true. I don't know. Guess what?
ain't my
It's not getting
business.
shared to me.
Not my business. Not my problem.
Well. Man, what was I saying?
I don't know, man. But yeah, man, I don't know why I can't get with those. I just can't. It's like, oh, share this video. Make sure as many people. Like, bro, I don't be in people's inbox like that.
I don't.
I don't want to be bothered like that, so I don't bother other people like that.
Man, there's stuff that I actually want to say to people. I'm like, dang.
Too bad I don't want the social interaction.
So why would I want to send you something
It's
that
like,
potentially
dang.
might be fake when I'm trying to share something real and I still won't do it?
It's like, dang, I want to tell you something, but too bad I don't want to talk to you. Like, what?
I mean, it's not that I don't want to talk to you. It's that I just don't want to talk.
Oh, man.
I mean, you know how much energy that takes? You know how special you got to be for me to want to talk to you?
Pretty special.
multiple days in a row. I mean, it's not that you're not a special person. If you talk to me, I'm gonna talk to you. I just don't think you want to talk because you're not talking.
And everybody needs their time. Hey, we talked yesterday. Let's give it a break. Let's give it a couple days. Let our last conversation marinate. I think that feels right.
Well, no, because there's some people that I talk to at work, and I'm like, man, if I go to them today, we ain't gonna have nothing to talk about because ain't nothing happened.
That's another thing. It's
So
like, hey.
I mean, I am a little busy at work, so when I might not see them in passing, so that's good because I have nothing of relevance to talk about.
It's like, hey, how are you?
I'll
Good.
see them next week, and then I'll have something to say. I saw them yesterday. I mean, it'll be hard for me to see them today. I can't go out of my way because I don't got nothing to say.
let a special event happen before we talk next.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there was this one person I saw, and she was like, hey, what's been happening? I ain't seen her in like a month. I was like, nothing. I was
shoot,
like,
man.
it sucks. I mean, like, I wanted to say, like, oh, this happened, and we could talk. And
it's sad because
and nothing happened on my end. Hope something happened to you.
you want to talk to somebody, but then it's like, dang, but ain't nothing new happening right now.
Yeah.
Like what are you just gonna do? Say, oh, hi, just hitting you up, hi, and leave it at that. leave it all awkward like that. Oh man.
Look, I've done that.
I've done that too, and I regret it every time.
The only time
I still do that.
The only time I regret talking to somebody because I know it's going to be awkward is after I hit send. Because I'm like,
Because now it's done.
Yeah, it's like, oh well.
It's like, hey, how's it going? Oh, good. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you don't say that's it, but you both know that's it.
I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess we're not talking.
You can feel it when all the answers are short.
Nah, there was one person I was like, well, I was trying to have a conversation. She was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. Like, all the answers were like professional responses. And they weren't, I was like, I asked open-ended questions.
I take it they didn't have the time that day.
It's not that they didn't have the time. It's just that they didn't know. You know? They didn't know they didn't know I was just looking for casual conversation to get to know this person. They were just like, oh, this is the information, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, my open-ended question was met with, I'm like, how do I respond to this? This is.
How did you know them?
I met him at an event. And then I saw him a couple times. She asked for my number. I mean, I ain't never asked for no woman's number. I still got women's numbers though. Anyway.
Man is wildin'.
I was like, well, when I met her, she was really professional. And it wasn't a professional setting. I was just like, whoa, you're way more mature than me. You're a couple years younger than me. And I like to make jokes. I don't know if that's going to work. Let me see where this goes, though.
You said I like to make jokes.
And then she was still super professional. And I was just like, maybe I should just not. I'm going to hang back on the jokes. And then everything was professional for her in every setting. And then when I would finally see her, like, open up and be a little, I was like, oh, snap. Fine. Oh, okay.
Yeah, major look. Like,
So it wasn't me.
You thought.
It wasn't me. Just a very professional person.
Gotcha.
And I was like, man, look, sometimes you gotta be stupid every once in a while.
I don't know about stupid, but,
Dumb.
Open up.
You gotta be dumb.
So what's up, guys? What happened was we had to stop recording abruptly.
Because he was censoring me. He doesn't like what I say. He has to censor everything. It has to go through James because this was his idea. He's like, hey, buddy, no.
I'm the executive producer. No, I'm kidding. But the
You're
battery on the
being too
camera
funny.
was running out. But
yeah, what battery?
we did want to get in an official ending to the podcast.
Outro. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So, but thank you for listening. hopefully next week we'll be able to fit in a full episode before the camera battery runs out, or figure out a different solution. But
Hopefully you made it this far to the end of the podcast.
wow. But
I mean, there's a chance you just like checked out in the middle of us talking about driving.
by the way, those are true stories.
They are true stories. He almost killed himself multiple times.
Wasn't intentional, I promise.
That's more of a problem because you have issues.
Hey, don't sleep and drive.
Don't. It's as dangerous or more dangerous than drinking and driving.
Yes, don't do that either. Don't text and drive. We're all about safety over here.
Oh, are we? Mr. Sleepy Driver? We're all about safety?
We're all about safety. But anyways, that's pretty much it. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
I know them.
See y'all next time, next week. Put some comments below. Like it, share it, all that good stuff. It'll help out the channel. I don't know.
The channel.
This will be on YouTube
the
soon.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Wherever he puts it at.
Wherever. Google Podcasts.
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. Your mama's podcast.
Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
God. So disrespectful. Anyways. Bye.